Hello everyone, my name is Anton, and in this video I want to just do a walkthrough my Obsidian setup. I like watching videos of how some of the other Obsidian users have their Obsidian desktop app set up and kind of how they use it, some of the use cases for some of the plugins they do, and it gives me ideas on how I can improve my workflow within Obsidian. So here we go. Let's go ahead and get into my setup. The initial setup here, with the desktop, I have the left pane here set up, and I'm using this file explorer where I can see the folders up top and then the files in the bottom. I have the bookmarks set up right here at the bottom, and then we'll see here next to this left pane, I have a couple different tabs with notes that are open here. One that I've set up as my home note, so this note will always come up, especially when I'm on my phone. When I remove all of my different pages or notes that are in Obsidian, this one will always come up, and it'll kind of be my main note for getting to other stuff. So I have it set up here with Dataview, where it will show me the daily note for this particular day. Then in the My Daily Boards, if I have any Excalidraw boards set up or any of them created for today, they will show up in this list, and I'll create one and we'll see how that pops in. Then I have any incomplete tasks set up and active projects, and then just a list of some other documents or notes to send me to certain ones that I have set up here as quick links. The other one I have here is the daily note itself. So this particular daily note, I have a template that I've been improving upon over my time of using Obsidian. So in the first portion of it here, I kind of have it set up to where I have a personal reminder of a few things here to cultivate internal and external peace and clarity, develop to my fullest potential, and use all available resources wisely. So this is just something I like to see and say every day, just to keep me on point with kind of, my growth. The next one here is just a quote, and this changes. I have it set up as a Dataview query as well. So this will change every time I create a new daily note. I get a new actual quote that will pop in there. Then I have a couple prompts here that I have set up to where it'll ask me if I finished everything I needed to finish yesterday, the day prior. And this is really just a prompt to make me go back and see if I had any open items and bring those into this particular daily note, or kind of put those in my task scheduler or calendar, etc. The other one is more for prompting me to try to learn something new within the day. And then I get into my routine activities. Now I've started to change some of these and use more call outs just to beautify the actual note a little bit more. So I started using these different call outs to, again, make it look a little bit more prettier. Here I have two sections of my routine activities that I do, one for body and the other for mind. And I just have a few things in here, 4 in one and 4 in the other, that I just check off every day. And then I have my must-do items. You see I put a little description in there to remind me what these are for. And I kind of put my must-do tasks in here. This is in addition to obviously anything that's on my calendar that I need to do, or if I have anything that pops up throughout the day that I need to do, I'll typically either put those in here or down in the journal or in my notes area. The notes here is for like if I have any meetings that I think are of importance that where I need to take notes in, so I will put those in here. Or if I have any book notes or video notes that I want to put in, I will put those in here. And then the journal I have here at the bottom. This is where I'm putting more time based. So I try to, at certain points of the day, log what I've done prior to that time. And yeah, it's just one way to show that I am getting things done. So when I go back and look at it, it doesn't feel as if I guess wasting my day away and I'm not doing anything, because you tend to forget how much you actually do. And sometimes, I can be hard on myself and say I'm not doing enough. That's one way to kind of log and track things, just to show that, yes, I am doing work, I'm being productive. Yeah. So on this third tab, this is a new plugin that I started using recently called Thino. And this is one way for me to, you saw on the actual daily note here at the bottom where I have these journals. Before, what I was doing was basically, going to the next line, I do an actual shortcut command to put in the time, and then I log whatever items that I need to log there. But when I found this particular deal, this plugin here, it is just a different experience for accomplishing the same thing. And it really looks good on mobile as well. If I remember, I'll actually take a picture of what it looks like on mobile and show it right here. But it gives the same look, and the experience is pretty nice. So I can just come in here, and usually I like to put a bullet point in there, and this is a test note from Thino. And from here I can just save that. It goes in, you can see it logs each one of the inputs that I put in here, or memos as Thino is calling them here. And then if I go into this daily note, it's set up to append each one of those, and it also puts the time in automatically for me as well. So I don't have to use any shortcuts to figure out how to put the time in, which could be somewhat of an issue where there's like no real quick command to put the time in, unless I'm hitting P and then I'm doing time, and then I can insert the current time this way. But doing it this way here on mobile, there's actually the menu, the mobile menu that has a little clock on it that'll put the time in for you as well. But here I don't have to really think about the time at all. Just go in, put in whatever it is I need to log, hit enter, and I'm done. So I'm liking this so far. We'll see if I keep this as part of my workflow. Then I pin the home and the daily note here so that these are always there. The Thino one, there is no pin. It actually does not give you the option to pin this, but it usually stays here. So if I click on any links or anything, it'll always open up another link. So it doesn't replace this tab. So yeah, I don't really need the pin option for this particular application or plugin. Now on the right side here, actually we'll skip the middle here because this is really just a general working area. And then if I go over to the right pane, I typically I'll change up maybe this calendar, but the calendar will be up there by default most of the time. I may come in here and change it to the task, and those are usually the two that I go back and forth on. And then at the bottom here, I'll have any backlinks set up, so I can see when I do open up a note, I can see if there's anything linked to these notes, or if it has any recommended mentions here to link. Now within the middle portion here, typically again these are just working docs where I might get an idea and I want to create a new note. I will just come in here and create a new note in there. Also, I like to, when I get into say certain sessions where I just want to do a brain dump, this is where I will open up Excalidraw, and I have a template set up where it just opens up this rectangle that I have here, and that's where I use for writing. So if I'm on my iPad or I've tested this on a Samsung tablet as well. I can just draw in there using the pen tool, and I can hand write any notes that I want to in here. If I feel like I want to I have the S9 Ultra, the big tablet there. If I want to actually kind of sit down, start jotting things down, brain dumping, I can do that with the pen tool, and I can come in here and I can just use Excalidraw as it's meant to be used, as a huge canvas to start putting in different shapes. I can easily just come in here, and this is text, right? Just start typing. I can just start typing in here and putting stuff into here, and it's really easy for me to just come in, start typing, and not really have any order to any of what I'm putting in here. Again, I'm just brain dumping stuff into the canvas, and then I can start organizing things if I want to, right? Because Excalidraw is pretty powerful with the stuff that you can do. You can come in here and I can maybe turn this one, convert. Usually I will change any text item that I put in there. I'll just change it to a container. That way I can go ahead and manipulate it, the container itself. And then if I want to put arrows and, start linking some things, I can do that in there as well. So that's usually how my flow is within here. And it's just the Obsidian flow. I use Akiflow as a calendar, and I put my tasks in there as well, things that I need to have scheduled. So, but that would be another video on its own. If we go into the plugins that I have set up, let's walk through some of those. So I have the table plugin, the auto note mover. Now this one is a really important one for me too, because let's go ahead and look at the settings on that one there. So I have a few tags that I use to move notes around. And if we can see here, if I have any projects, if I label them, so I will typically start the project file in the inbox. You can see how I have my setup here using the P.A.R.A method over here. I have my projects, my areas, resources, and archive. We will notice, and I'll go back to the plugins here, that the areas, there are no subfolders here because I do not, I'm a little bit, I guess, against having a bunch of folders. So I don't like putting things in folders because I start to stress and overthink about which folder things should go in. So I tend not to have a lot of folders. So we'll see I have my inbox where everything just gets dumped by default, and that's the way I have it in my settings. And then if I have a project, what I'll do is I tag it from after I create it in my inbox. So let's come in here and let's just say I create a new file. So I can just come in here and I can tag this as active, and it will know that because I have this setting here in the auto note mover, that this, when I put active, it's a project. So it automatically knows that if I put a tag in there, it's a project, and it's a project that I am working on now. So something that I plan to complete within 1 or 2 months, if not 3 at most, right? If it's something that I'm not going to touch within 2 to 3 months or more, or maybe even if it's a someday item, I'll put it in the later. And then once there's something that I just need closed from a project standpoint, I will put close, and then it will just go into the resources folder. And if I need to archive anything, and this is more for just regular files because I have the close in there for projects. These 3 are meant to be put on projects. The archive is the only one I have that's really more specific to just general notes that are out there that I want to move to my resources folder. Now, you might be asking that if I'm archiving and I'm using P.A.R.A, why am I not putting it in the archive folder? So I have the structure here, but again, because I really don't want to have a lot of folders. The folder is here, but I haven't been utilizing it because my thought is that all these files and knowledge and information I'm putting in here is a resource, so, or a type of resource. Especially if I've already completed the item and it's done, then to me it's already a resource. So I haven't really started thinking that I'm going to put stuff in an archive, because the archive for me just means I'm storing it away and I'll probably never look at it again. So yeah, I'm just mentally, I put it in the resource for now. I also have other subfolders within here to call out certain types of resources. So anything that I have as an attachment, that basically I drag and drop it in here, or I cut and paste it in here, the settings are set up to dump it into the attachment bucket. Then there are the canvases, the Excalidraw files, read-wise, and then any templates that are in there. Again, these are pretty simple. I'm not putting them in there as resources like separating PDFs and docs and things like that, because it just get too complicated to kind of manage. So everything is typically dumped into the top level folder unless there is a specific reason to have its own folder. Like canvases, when I click this button, it is really different from a note. So just identifying that all the canvases go in here for me makes sense. Same with the Excalidraw files. Readwise has this configuration, so having all that separated just in case I change something with the plugin and the settings, I can delete all that stuff and maybe recreate it. And then templates, again, are a specific type of note where it's easier for me to manage them in here instead of putting them in one huge folder mixed up with other stuff. Now that is basically the general folder structure. As I mentioned, the areas I don't really use and the archive I don't really use. Now let's go back to these plugins. Let's see, we have the calendar, simple checklist one, copy block links, and I'm not going to go into detail on most of these here. Maybe I will if you put comments putting comments in this video at the bottom there about any specific ones you might want to see as far as these plugins and how I'm using them. Just let me know, and maybe I'll just do a video specific on one of these plugins. Dataview, I have the diagram.net plugin in there, the dictionary, the editor width, which I probably will show this one just because I really do. I kind of like this and I use it probably more so than some of the other ones. The Excalidraw, the file tree alternative, you can see that there. The homepage plugin, the image inserter. Again, if I might show this one here too because it's pretty quick. The Kanban, Make, which kind of themes everything here, and we will get a little piece of Make. I don't use Make in all of its spaces as much as maybe I should, but I do use it for a specific purpose, and I'll show you that. The note gallery, the Pane plugin, readwise I mentioned, recent files, reminders, smart connections, which is disabled. I only enable that at certain times when I want to start seeing connections between notes. This does a really good job, I think, for making different connections with different notes. The templater, and then Thino, as I mentioned before. So those are all the plugins. As I mentioned, if you want to see more on any one of those, just let me know. On the note, let me come into one of these here, and I said I would show a couple things here. See if I can pick one that might have some data in it. So let's do this one here, and let's remove this right here from the side. Now, this particular note, the one that changes, the plugin that changes the width, that one there, we can see here where the width has these borders on the side and it kind of puts everything down the middle. Sometimes I want to see the entire thing stretched out a bit. So this particular plugin does that. And yeah, so I think it's just a convenient thing where I might have too much room on my desktop. Right now I have like a 32 or 36 inch screen here, so I can really make this pretty large, and instead of shrinking the entire Obsidian window, I can either expand or shrink the actual note itself. Let me see. Another one would probably be the actual image inserter. So if we do the image inserter, I use my shortcut key here, and if I do it an image, let me see, what is this about here? This is about raising money. So let me just put in money here, and this will go to Upsplash, and it will look for different images. And then I have it set up to where it just puts the link to this image in the properties. So if I come up here, let me go ahead and I'll expand that. And this is a feature of Make, the Make plugin, where I can add stickers. Let me see here if I can put money here. We can put in stickers and banners, and you can kind of see the properties and everything here in a different type of way. So yeah, I think that image inserter helps kind of, again, pretty up and beautify up the note and gives me somewhat a feel like Notion. I really do kind of like the look of Notion, where you can kind of add images and, add your personal touch to these particular documents that you're doing, instead of just having plain text in there. Another thing I do in my template, my default template, when I create a note, the first thing that I do, or really the only automated thing that I do, actually there's a couple. So one thing I do is I add this property, this daily note _ URL, and I add the link to the daily note. So this, I want to know every time I create a file, this helps me know that I created this particular note on this day. So if I go to that daily note, I would actually see that there's a link from one of my, from this particular file to this daily note. So then if I come into this day and I want to know what's been created this day, I can just come to the daily note, come to the side panel, and find everything that has been linked. So quick and easy. I could also go into the recent files if I wanted to, but this is just one way to streamline that particular workflow, because I'm usually going to have this daily note open here all the time anyway, and this panel. All right, so and the other things that I do add in there is the areas piece here and this tag. So when I create a new note, it will get this property, it will get areas, and then it will get tags that I will add in there. As we can see here, the areas, I put in hashtag area, and then whatever the tag I want to put in here for areas, and I'll show you why I'm doing this. And then I have the tags, just like any tags that you would put on a document if you use tags. Now the reason why I put the hashtag area and then I put slash and then an actual area, this takes the place of me creating a folder over here in the areas folder, the way that you're taught by Tiago in the P.A.R.A method, how he has the folders over here in this area folder. And I guess the exception here is this gives me the flexibility to where I can just do hashtag area and put it in another area, which is just a tag here. So I can have it in two different places at once. So it's not stuck to a specific folder, which again, me and my overthinking brain some of the times will just go completely crazy on well, should it be here or should it be there? And I waste more time figuring out where I should put it. Where with this particular method and process, I can just put it in 1, 2, 3, 4, however many places I want to as an area. So, and let me show you exactly the way I do this in Spaces, which comes with this Make plugin, is when I go into area, here we can see the tags I've pinned to this particular folder within this space. So in here, you can come in here and you can do a new pin, and you can pin things within here. Tags is one of the things that you can actually pin within these folders within a space. So this is one way I've been using Spaces within the Make plugin, is to give me this particular functionality. And so far I'm liking it. Again, I don't have to create a bunch of folders. These tags can be put on within the files, and yeah, to me, I like this particular process, so I'm going to keep using it this way without creating the folders. This might be something you might want to try as well. Now, I think that pretty much sums up. I went through a lot there. I don't want the video to get too long, but I think that sums up most of my Obsidian setup at a high level and some of my workflow on how I move through here. The only other thing I did not show was maybe canvases, but the canvas is a canvas. The only thing I might say with the canvas is that with Dataview, I wanted to actually show canvases here. So like my daily boards, I would consider a canvas to be a board, or one of those infinite boards or whiteboards that I will just go in and do like some brain dumping, and they do not show up when you try to search for those in Dataview. Hopefully that gets fixed, but from what I've seen in the forums, that they may not spend time on that because their Dataview is apparently going to be changing to Data Core, and yeah, but I'm not sure whether they are with that. That's not here now, so I have to go without seeing any of the canvases that I create. So if I create a canvas in here from today, it will not show in my Dataview. So yeah, one little thing that I guess doesn't within my system that gets me a little riled up, that I can't see it, but overall the way I have it set up has been working pretty well for me. All right, so that's going to end this particular video. I think I've rambled on a bit about this particular setup. If there's anything you want me to, again, go into detail on, just leave a comment in the comment section of the video, and when I get to it, I will try to allocate some time to making a video about or answering your questions in the comment section. If you found value out of this video and the content, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And until the next time, have a nice day.